Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are having a fantastic day. So today's upload is going to be a video about the ongoing system that is occurring across the country, what's its next moves, where it will snow the heaviest, and the cold air behind it. There's some threats for another potentially large system next week, early next week, into Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. Okay, that one is a very interesting one. I'll leave maybe tomorrow's episode for that. However, today we have a really large system. This system is moisture fueled. It dropped quite a bit of snow across New Mexico, the panhandles of Oklahoma and Texas, and now it's moving through Missouri, Illinois. It's snowing in my location right now as we speak. About maybe an inch of snow on the ground already, and it's barely 6. So it's overproducing in my area a little bit, but I'm sure that as the evening goes on, it will even things out, and it should be right near the forecast of your National Weather Service. Really, the major concern is the flooding and the severe weather down to the south. You know, the snow at the northern side, it's going to make travel hazardous. However, it's not going to pose a risk to your lives as flooding. If you drown in, turn around, don't drown. That's what they always say. You don't know how deep the water is in your street or any street that you pass through. So don't even try risking that. You may ruin your car. You may ruin yourself, and it's just the storm is not, maybe it's not the most powerful system, but it's going over the same locations as many other snowstorms have in the past, so it really isn't too good of a situation. Before we get into this video, I already kind of did, but you consider subscribing to this channel, consider liking this video. It really means a lot to me when I see an increase in subscriptions. That means I'm doing something right, tells me that you guys are liking what I do. So that would be really nice. If you're a returning viewer and you're already subscribed, consider liking the videos. That helps out the video get out to more people that want to know about the weather possibly. So the system it's going to be quick moving. That's the thing. It's not going to be a slow mover, so that's a good thing, right? By late tomorrow, it's going to be basically out of the United States. So notice that it drops quite a bit of snow across Illinois, Indiana. This is where a lot of rain is happening right now. There's I think severe thunderstorm warnings and watches as we speak right now across the Tennessee, Kentucky area, maybe a little bit further to the south. I'm not sure. I'll show you the Weather Ready Nation map in just a minute. There's blizzard warnings to the north because of the northern piece of the storm, a very weak cold front in terms of precipitation, but it's going to have howling winds, and the temperatures are going to drop more than 30 to 40 degrees in a matter of hours across locations. And that's a different thing with this storm, that it brings in a lot of cold air behind it compared to other storms that really have not been doing that in the past. We've had systems in the past this winter where it passes and the next day it could be 40 degrees. So it seems like this one, will have a little bit of cold air behind it. It's powerful. That's why it drags down all this this cold air. And you can see it really is a quick hitter for the Northeast. It really doesn't do much. I mean, maybe 1 to 3, if you're lucky, 3 to 5 across parts of New York State, maybe Vermont, New Hampshire as well. But it really is a quick mover, and that's good, as less rain will fall. Well, for the snow lovers, less snow will fall as well. But that's unfortunate. But you can see that the cold air is definitely going to be there. Notice how we could see another little small clipper Sunday, February 16th, 17th, and 15th. It's just a little cold front. We'll have to watch that. It may become a little bit more stronger than expected. Not a big storm though. That's definitely not. Doesn't have a lot of energy. Now this is. I'm gonna touch base on this storm just for a little bit. This is where things get really interesting, and obviously the models are just ridiculously in disagreement. So we are looking at a very interesting storm. The National Weather Service, in my office, National Weather Service in Chicago, I was reading their forecast discussion. They described it as a Lee cyclone, which I haven't seen that term ever used before. I'll have to look into that. But it's definitely interesting. Now, this doesn't look like an interesting storm according to the GFS, right? You can see it just passes through, has a little bit of snow, cold air to it, drags another cold from behind it. You can see the cold air is definitely there. It's snowing in Texas. That could be another event. So definitely a lot of cold air, lots of precipitation on the way. So that's good news for snow lovers, as the chance is definitely going to be there. But the differences in the European and GFS are quite profound. Stay tuned to the end of the video. I'll show you what the European shows for that storm. But I want to show you right now what the high resolution models are showing for this ongoing storm, as that's really more of a concern rather than this system. So let's look at this, shall we? So let's look at the HER model. This stands for High Resolution Rapid Refresh Model, or it may be one of those three. I really not sure an arrangement of the R's, but it's something along those lines. That's all you have to know, really irrelevant information. But you could see that this storm has a lot of juice to it, maybe a little bit underdone by this model. The HER model usually does a pretty good job. It's been doing a weak job on this storm, not only because it's not showing as much as there is of snow, but there is yesterday at this time frame it was showing rain across parts of the northern Illinois and into Indiana area, so that was a little bit concerning, but I knew that wouldn't happen, as the thermal profiles were well supported for snow. And if you were to look at this system, you can see it's quick moving. That's the thing that's keeping this heavy snowfall totals from being present just about everywhere. There's going to be some 5 to 8 inch amounts possibly across portions of central Indiana where the heaviest snow occurs. You can see right there, though, we see northern Illinois, Indiana, and this is where that second phase of the storm kind of starts playing in. It's really not a second phase of the storm. It's a completely different storm, but it acts as a second phase as these two systems connect. And you can see this system moves off into Cleveland, Ohio, Erie, Pennsylvania, Syracuse, New York, Buffalo, the main system. And we see this little energy, and behind it, this is early. This is basically today late in the evening, possibly. This is what the HER model is showing. I think it's a little bit too disorganized, but we shall see. I mean, the HER model, sometimes points to things that are relatively pioneering in terms of a winter storm forecast. We've seen, the HER model latch on to certain concepts about a certain winter storm earlier than even the National Weather Service offices have. And you can see that it shows like a second little wave right here across parts of Illinois, Indiana. And the thing with this thing is, guys, the thermal profiles will be very, very high. So, not the thermal profiles, the snowfall ratio. Sorry, the snowfall ratio. So that means it's going to be closer to more to 10 or 16 to 18 inches of snow per inch of water. And if we look at the total snowfall, you can see 10-to-1 snow to liquid ratio. So the snowfall amounts shown are going to be a little bit less, or a little bit less than what's actually going to happen. You can see they're showing 3 inches, 4 inches of additional snow. That may be true for the southern locations, but up here, I would say something more like 2 to 4, as maybe even 5-inch amounts, as the thermal profile or the snowfall ratios. Thermal profiles will be more supportive of snowfall ratios that are way higher. So that is that. Also, if you live in northwestern Indiana, get ready for some lake effect. I don't know if there will be issue a lake effect snow warning, but there may be some pretty good 1 to 3 amounts, pretty widespread across those areas. Though again, widespread is not really the word that should be used for lake effect, as lake effect is the opposite of widespread in nature. Let's look at the NAM model. Let's see what it has. You can see it also puts out just a little bit more snow. I think this may be a little bit more realistic, as the snow has been pretty prolific in terms of overproduction already across parts of the panhandles and into even parts of Missouri and Illinois. And now I will show you the temperatures that are going to be coming after this snowstorm. They're going to be right on its heels. It's going to be very quick, and it's going to hit with a blast. So this is what you could see is going on right now. We are looking at some above average temperatures. But again, we've been seeing that pretty consistently this winter. And despite that, many locations across the central United States have really not been budged by that in terms of snowfall. I know that there's many locations that are above average. Yes, across the East Coast it's been below average. That's an exception. But I can name many cities that are above average right now. Minneapolis, Duluth, Chicago's just 2 inches below average. This snowstorm will bring it above average. So it's an interesting winter. It's very unique. Notice this cold air just comes in sweeping through early Thursday morning, and that's what makes the snow that does fall at this time very fluffy, and that's what's going to make it accumulate a little bit more. And then notice the GFS puts out another Arctic blast of air, and then another one, and then that could be in front of that big storm on Monday and Tuesday of next week, which I actually want to show you right now, as yeah, those things are definitely, that storm is definitely looking very interesting. So I'll show you that right now. So right now we are looking at the European model, the ECMWF, European Center for Medium Weather Forecasting. So that's exactly what it stands for. And now let's look at the forward time frame. So again, it almost splits these two systems apart. It puts one phase, again, that that second storm, if you will, across the Midwest, and then a second one across into portions of the New York and into Pennsylvania. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. These two systems kind of separating. The European has done a pretty good job. Not the best snowstorm, but it did have the early indications of the storm way better pinned down than GFS. So let's look at what it's showing around the Tuesday, Monday timeframe. As that one really may be the one for the snow lovers. Seriously, if the European continues to show what it's been showing, and that's why I included this at the end of the video. I'm not going to mention anything about it in the title, as it's been the first weather model that shows this. The first weather model run from the European that shows this to the same extent. So this could easily change, but it's not awfully far out. I mean, it's in the 130-hour time frame out. So it really isn't too far out. Notice there's an insane pulse of energy across the Pacific. Lots of snow across the upper elevations down to Colorado and into gets into the United States. The plain, well, Colorado is the United States. That was a bit misinforming. It gets into the plains of the United States, and you could see that it drags up a lot of moisture. And look how defined it becomes. It gets filled with very heavy snow. You could see heavy snow extending from Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, southern Michigan, and moves off into the Northeast as a beast. So if that were to happen, that would be a very, very interesting scenario, as the snowfall amounts would be beyond ridiculous with that. So yes, we have this first storm, we have to account for that couple of inches -3, maybe the snowfall amounts from that second storm, because this is total snowfall, not just from that second storm. You can see 2 to 3 across Chicago, 4 to 5 across the central Illinois, maybe a bit more across Missouri and central Indiana, into Ohio and Pennsylvania. Then look at this. This storm just absolutely blows up the snowfall amounts. Seems like there would be quite a bit of cold air with that. Snowfall ratios could be even more. You could see Chicago possibly up to well over a foot, northern Indiana as well, into Missouri and Iowa. So yeah, it's definitely exciting. It's one of a kind system. So we'll definitely keep an eye on for that. But as of now, we have this system to deal with. Again, not record amounts of snow, but definitely there to cause a disturbance. So thank you guys so much for watching. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing to this channel, and I will catch you guys on the next episode. See ya. Bye.